Hello and welcome back, YouTube, to another episode with your Blue Jays franchise. And after winning the World Series, we are excited to go into the offseason and try and find a way to bring back Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and BICHETTE. The Blue Jays have proven they have what it takes. They finally got over the hump in the playoffs. And looking at the award-winning season for some of these players, some interesting choices. Ryan Walker had a solid season in San Francisco. He wins the reliever of the year in the NL. Rookie there goes to Griffin Conine, the former Blue Jay prospect, traded during COVID to the Marlins. Tampa Bay got him from Miami at the trade deadline. Aaron Judge wins the Hank Aaron. No surprise there. Alejandro Kirk wins a Gold Glove at catcher. First base, Christian Walker. Colt Keith at second beats out Andres Jimenez. Third base, Junior Caminero. Shortstop, Bobby Witt. Randy Arozarena in left beats out Davis Schneider. Dalton Varsho wins a Gold Glove at center field, second straight year. And in right field, Mike Trout. Brent Rooker wins the Silver Slugger. Yannier Diaz wins at catcher. Vladdy at first wins the Silver Slugger. Bregman at second. Jose Ramirez at third. Corey Seager at short. And for the outfielders, you have Aaron Judge, Adolis Garcia, and Colton Cowser, who had a pretty solid year for the Orioles. Postseason MVP went to Babe Schneider. What a run he had in the postseason. Ryan McMahon and Vladdy there nominated, but Vladdy wins the World Series MVP. 4 home runs, 8 RBIs in the finals. What a performance there. And he's going to earn that contract. Looking at some retired players so far, Justin Wilson, Julio Rodriguez, the pitcher, Ryan Brazier on the Cubs, Andrew McCutchen, Martin Maldonado, Uriel Gurriel, and no real big names here in free agency. Matt Carpenter, you can recognize that name. And no Hall of Fame inductees. Does that mean Mad Max is going to come back for another year? Wouldn't that be something? And looking at the players that we have to sign, Vladdy, he's going to get his big contract like he has in real life. And he's going to get a 15-year deal. Maybe he's a Blue Jay for life, because I don't know if you're going to be able to trade that contract. But he's been worth it so far. Now, BICHETTE, that's the question. What is he actually worth? He had a pretty solid year. But everyone else, I don't know if we're going to really bring back. BICHETTE doesn't have that much interest in the Blue Jays right now. He wants just under $20 million a year. 5-year deal. Even if we try and get up to closer to 20, doesn't really grow too much. So if he wants like $25 million, I'm going to probably let him walk. But we will tender offer him. In case he does want to sign somewhere else, we are going to get a pick out of it. Chris Bassett, Chad Green, Amir Garrett, we're going to let walk. But Mad Max, he was pretty solid for us, so we'll reward him with a 1-year deal. See if he wants to stay in Toronto and make another run for a World Series title. Everyone else is going to be a free agent. And we have some trades to make. Alan Roden, Michael Stefanik for Louis Varland. Going to the Twins. Help out our bullpen there. And we need a pitching coach. So Craig Henson, 46 years old. Looks like he's going to be replacing Pete Walker here. If we can get him signed, $2 million a year for a pitching coach. Just under. Why not? Sim Ed here. And there you have it. Craig Henson is our new pitching coach. Yes, we tender offered BICHETTE. Don't need to do anything else. Dylan Cease, Michael Chain, Suarez, Zach Gallen to top the free agency list there. Arbitration rights, Dalton Varsho, his last year of arbitration. Just over $8 million. I don't know if we'll win that one. Yeah, had a solid year. Nick Sandlin will offer arbitration rights too. Some depth in the bullpen. Alek Manoah, he'll get some arbitration. Even $2 million in overpay for him. Hyman, I don't know if we're going to bring back. I know he's been a fan favorite for Blue Jays fans. Richard Lovelady, we're not going to bring back. So let's see what we have for free agency here. Kyle Tucker. Now, I just don't know if we're going to be able to have the money. We can't sign Tucker, Vladdy, and Blow. Valdez, Cease, Jane, Gallen, Eflin. Kind of the top pitchers. I don't know if we're really going to be able to get a top pitcher in this free agency class. Not after the money we're shelling out to Vladdy. And there's not really any depth pitching here that I would take over Ricky Tiedemann for our 5th spot. Right now, I do not see Shane Bieber, though, so maybe we can try and make a trade for Shane Bieber. Because he's only going to be making $13 million a year, and that's definitely doable. Ranger Suarez, he wants, like all these pitchers, they want over $25 million a year. It's just not going to happen. Matt Strom, maybe we can beef up the bullpen here. Jose Leclerc, he just wants over $5 million for a 1-year deal. 32 years old, former Athletic. He's been in the playoffs with the Texas Rangers. Luke Weaver is also an option. Hunter Harvey, he's got some velocity out of his arm. Taylor Rogers, the submarine pitcher. Scott Barlow. Definitely some options in the bullpen department here, which would be a nice add here for the Toronto Blue Jays. Definitely some nice depth. Jose Leclerc. Always struggled hitting against him. He's got some nasty stuff. Nasty break and velocity. And he had the pretty solid year, 2.72 ERA. If we can hope for that, that would be huge out of the bullpen next year. Now, Kyle Tucker, I keep on looking at him, but I know we won't be able to afford him. Bo Bichette. Do we try and make another offer for him, even though we did make a qualifying? But he's got 42% motivation to sign right now. We might be losing Bo Bichette. Now, someone to help out our offense. Schwarber, we've been looking at. He's got some power. He'd be a solid DH, but I don't really want Santander in the outfield. Gleyber Torres could be a possible Bo Bichette replacement. He only wants a 2-year deal. That's tempting. He'd be second. We would have to move Jimenez to short. But I don't know if Jimenez has the arm strength really for a shortstop. Josh Naylor, bring home a Canadian kid. Can get him at DH. Lefty bats, 28 years old. It's tempting. We can even put him in the field and right outfield too if we need to. 20 home runs last year. He wants about $15 million a year. Alright, so we'll go with those free agents for now. And for our tender offers, Bowden Francis. Right now, he's got some years of arbitration left, so we're going to go into a 2-year deal, $5 million a year. He had a pretty solid year in the starting rotation. Pedro Bajas, solid backup capture for us with some pop in his bats. If we can get him to a 2-year deal at 1.2. Ryan Burr pitched well in the postseason, regular season, different story. If we can bring him into a 1-year deal, just around under $1 million, I think we could definitely make that happen. Ricky Tiedemann, what a start to his career. 5 games, 4-1 record. And he could be making a spot for the 5th man in our rotation. And I think I would like to sign him to a 3-year deal. Take him up to arbitration. Addison Barger, he's going to be a solid player for the Blue Jays for years to come. Lots of growth still left in his game. Just get him at $1 million. Jonathan Clase, questions still remain if he's going to even be a full-time guy on our roster. Nathan Lucas, nice depth option here if there's any injuries in the outfield. Sign him to a 2-year deal. Jake Bloss had some hit and miss moments, but we'll re-sign him. Morgan Woodson, signed to a 1-year deal. Or Elvis Martinez. Now the question is this guy ever going to break through? Leo Jimenez has had cups of coffee in the MLB. Joey Loperfido, strong end to the year. Making a push for a roster spot next year. We'll get him signed. We could probably sign him to under $1 million on a 2-year deal. Trey Savage, top pitching prospect now in the system. Possibly making his debut next year. Stuart Baroa, some outfield depth. He's on the 40 man, I think, right now, so we can give him a 1-year deal. Tommy Nance, we'll probably think about that. Benago, Josh Riviera, get those guys signed. Arjun Nimala, of course, 20 years old, possibly making his debut next year. See how well he plays. Brandon Little, solid lefty with some options in the bullpen. Bastardo, the Rule 5 draft pick from the Red Sox, 23 years old. To get him growing a little bit. Nick Frazee, 28 years old. He can still pitch in AAA. Richardo, Goddard Lerdo, Barrett Montez. Get those guys signed. Cal Steffen, which we'll probably end up trading him for Shane Bieber, just to make it a little realistic here. Josh Kasevich, I really want him to grow, but he may just trade bait. If his offense can't get going, Zach Veen, see if he can grow into something. The Rockies tried to develop him, didn't work out. Brandon Barrera, 22 first-round pick, still developing there. Damiano Palmgiani, Vancouver kid, see if he can finally break through. Riley Tarota, very good minor league hitter. He may get a shot in the majors. RJ Schreck, Cutter Coffee, a huge addition here. Louis Varland, he's got some velocity and he's got some options. So lots of team control with him. Excited what he can do for the Blue Jays. If I give him a 3-year deal, yeah, that works. Deshaun Brown, Canadian prospect, still failing to develop. Devontae Brown, I think we might leave him off our negotiation list. But you do need some depth, so we'll think about that. Michael Turconi, 15th round pick in 2022. Going to be just staying in AA probably his whole career. Cade Doughty, need him to grow just a little bit more. Jacob Wetzel, we'll give him a deal. Kendall Williams, he can stay probably in AA. I don't know if he's ever going to grow into anything. Charles McAdoo, man, they got for IKF, and he actually came back this year. Peyton Williams, Kevin Gowdy, Edison Paulino, Braden Nets. All right, looks like their AA squad's going to be pretty solid. Connor Cook, Sosa, we're not going to resign. Neither same as Josh Walker. Braden Fisher, he's pitched really well in real life this season for the Blue Jays, so he could grow into something. We're hoping. Nick Robertson, probably going to re-sign him. Andrew Bash, we'll probably let walk, 29 years old. Trenton Wallace can come back. Mason Fluharty, get him growing into something. He's going to be an awesome lefty for the Blue Jays for years to come. DJ Brock, get him re-signed. His potential's going down to a D. Don't like that. Ryan Boyer, we're going to let walk. I'm looking at first trade of the offseason. Trevor Story goes from the Red Sox to the Angels for Jose Tejada. Interesting move there from Boston. And the Miami Marlins move on from Connor Norby. They get Sergio Ramirez returned. Interesting move there from the Athletics. All right, and we got a move here. Shane Bieber is going to come to Toronto for Andrew Vaughn, Kel Steffen, and a prospect. So we're going to get him in our starting rotation with Francis Gosman, Brios, Ricky Tideman. It is looking like it's going to be our opening day roster. We'll see how spring training works out, but right now, that looks to be the plan. And Dylan Cease has got some interest from the Orioles. Yeah, he wants over almost $30 million a year. I don't know about that. Jose Leclerc, motivation's almost there. Bichette, still hasn't signed yet, but Pittsburgh, Detroit, and Athletics are interested. I can see maybe Detroit. And there's the big trade there. Will Wagner going along with Steffen and Vaughn. Josh Naylor ready to sign. The Reds, Athletics, and Cubs all have offers on the table. 20% motivation to sign. Yeah, we're not going to make an offer. Would have been nice, but Josh Naylor is going to be in Cincinnati with a 6-year deal, just over $15 million a year. And there you have it. Bo Bichette decided to decline the qualifying offer. Not a shocker there. Ryan Hesley goes to Philadelphia. Randy Dobnak goes to Boston. For Yoshida, the Twins getting some outfield help. So with Bo Bichette possibly leaving, Willie Castro is an option we've been looking at. 28 years old, switch hitter. Can play pretty much all over the field. And he could be a solid stop until Nimala is ready. Also, Isaac Kinapalefa is there. Garrett Hampson. There are some options. But it's definitely going to be a downgrade at short if Bo Bichette leaves. Garrett Hampson does have speed, which we do need in the lineup. 31 years old. Could sign him pretty cheap. Jorge Mateo is also there. Former Baltimore Oriole. But we keep on going back to Willie Castro. And we are going to try and sign him if Bo Bichette doesn't want to come aboard. Alright, we'll sim ahead here. Devin Williams returns to New York. How do you feel about that, Yankees fans? I know he's been getting a lot of hate lately. Kyle Tucker is going to sign in Philly. He's going to partner up with Bryce Harper. Oh man, the Phillies are looking dangerous. Suarez goes to Chicago on a 3-year deal. Getting some offensive help there. Alright, so they lose Tucker, but they get Suarez. Change stays in San Diego. The Cubs get Robert Gasser for the Brewers for James Tyon and a shortstop prospect. Alright. Valdez to Baltimore. I don't know about that. But Jose Leclerc, Bo Bichette, Castro, they're all ready to take an offer. Yeah, we'll offer Leclerc a deal. Okay, well, he wants 1 year. What if we give him about just over $6 million a year for a 1-year deal? I think that's a fair offer. Jose Leclerc will be a solid bullpen arm for us. Hopefully, he would want to stay with that deal. No one else can top it. Now, Bo Bichette. I think this is our final run at him. I don't want to offer him 25, but I could go maybe 22. 22.5. That's going to be the max offer I will offer Bo Bichette. And if he does sign, that's going to put us above the threshold. So we need to move some money. Yariel Rodriguez. Never really been a fan of him out of the bullpen. Diamondbacks need some help in the bullpen. So we can get a prospect for him. It could be an interesting move there. Phillies, not prospects we're really interested in right there. Mets, Marlins, no. We're not going to trade him to a rebuilding team. Josh Galvin with the White Sox, no, not going to make that deal. Dodgers, they have so much pitching depth it's not even fair. Sam Cabral, though, interesting offer there that we looked at first time. We're going to go with that. Zach Eflin is going to sign in Tampa Bay, a 2-year deal, $25 million a year. Tampa Bay shelling out some cash for some pitching help. The contract is about to be decided here. Who is coming to Toronto? Was it Bo? It is! Bo Bichette returns to Toronto. He is going to stay on a 5-year deal, $22.5 million a year. Now we'll see if that's going to come back and bite us in the butt. But for the best shortstop in the class, we definitely needed him back. And Jose Leclerc, he's going to sign on a 1-year deal. And that's going to help out the bullpen. Red Sox are offering us a trade. Jeff Hoffman for Blaze Jordan and Mickey Romero. Blaze Jordan, 23-year-old prospect. Yeah. Mickey Romero, 22-year-old shortstop. Not going to make that trade in division. You got to give us a little more than that if you want our closer. And Valdez signs on a 1-year prove-it deal at over $30 million a year. So we definitely need some catching depth in the minors. There is some options, but Nathan Hickey, he's going to be one of the guys we're going to be looking at here. Down in AAA in case there's any injuries. And Jeremiah Jackson at short. He's going to help out with some depth in the minors there. He can play all over the field too, which helps. And more bullpen depths are Anthony Dominguez. We'll give on a 1-year deal. He's got some heat in his arm, but he wants a 2-year deal. We're fine with that too. Willie Castro, Marlins and Boston are going after him, but he signs in Oakland. He's going back, or not Oakland, Las Vegas, or wherever city they're going to be playing in. Dylan Cease goes to Texas, so that's going to be a nasty rotation. I'm looking at the draft lottery, see if there's going to be any changes. Right now, the White Sox hold the number 1 pick. Will they lose it? Definitely seen some weird jumps in Tampa Bay, and the Athletics go 1 and 2. Tampa Bay moves up 5 spots. Athletics move up 6. Rockies are 3. White Sox, wow, that's a rough go for White Sox there. Marlins 5. Nationals 6. Angels 7. Royals 8. Cardinals, Brewers, Guardians, Astros, Giants. Rule 5 draft now. We definitely could use some help offensively here. And with us up at the threshold, there are some interesting players that we could look at. Pitching wise, I think we're fine. Hunter Barco, former 2nd-round pick in 2022. We were tempted to take him. Maybe we could put him in the bullpen. But I think he would not last on our roster right now with the way things are sitting. No one else that really looking at to really take a chance on. Brian Mata, possibly. Mason Albright jumped out at us, a lefty. Matthew Thompson, former 2nd-round pick in 2019. Bullpen arms out of closer, no. Catchers, Nathan Hickey, hopefully he doesn't get claimed. Ryan Ward, Ivan Melendez is there. Could prove some power on the bench. Could be an option. Austin Callahan. Someone that could replace a Will Wagner possibly. 24 years old. Brendan Malone. Blaze Jordan. Boston tried offering us a deal for him. Wasn't even on the 40-man roster. For Jeff Hoffman. Do we come back and just take him anyway? He was one of the best hitting prospects in his draft class. Just has not developed into that hitter everyone thought he was going to be in the major leagues. Do we take a chance on him? He can't play 3rd and 1st. Reggie Crawford is also there. Lefty. Not the power we're looking for, but John Rhodes. He can play 1st and in the outfield. He's got a lot of team control left. Former 3rd-round pick in 2021. He's definitely got some good fielding. Arm strength is good. George Springer replacement possibly there. Hunter Bishop. But we got Joey Loperfido. We don't need a lefty outfielder. Austin Kendrick is also there. Former 1st-round pick. He hasn't really grown into much. Vaughn Brown. Dylan Beavers. Former 2nd-round pick from the Orioles. That would be nice to get a division rival prospect for free. Alexander Canario. No. Jonathan Clase is better. But John Rhodes. That's going to be our safe bet here with the 1st pick in the Rule 5 draft. Definitely like what we see from him. He's got good arm strength in outfield. He is growing. So John Rhodes, welcome aboard. And we went back to Blaze Jordan because we have room on a 40-man. And just a shot at the Boston Red Sox here, we're going to take him. Hopefully he can pay off. He is going to have to stay on our roster for most of the year. Otherwise, he's going to go back to Boston. But hopefully, we're hoping his bat will show up. And that will do it for the Rule 5 draft. So let's sim ahead here. Ranger Suarez is going to sign in Arizona. And second base open for some depth. Javier Sanoa, 5'7", 23 years old. Can kind of play over. Tyler Callahan, lefty bat. He was in the Rule 5 draft. We didn't let to take him. But it looks like he's going to be added to the 40-man roster anyway. He's got some options. He can play in AAA. And if there's any injuries, we can call him up. And a big trade here from Chicago. They're getting rid of their pitching, and they're just getting offense. Wow. All right, see what happens with Chicago. Trying to outscore their problems. So we sim ahead here. Come on, let's go. Zach Gallen going to Texas. Their pitching staff is going to be nasty. My goodness. First 4 in their pitching rotation. They are spending some money. All right, we'll sim ahead here. Arbitration. We'll see who wins and loses. Sandlin, he's going to be making 1.6. Manoah, 2.3. Varsho's making $20 million. He won his case in a big, big way. Wow, that's even more money we're going to have to spend now. Oh, boy. But hey, we brought back Vladdy and Bo. So hopefully they can find a way to lead back Toronto to the World Series. I'm looking at the rest of the trades in the offseason. Some interesting moves definitely are going to play out here. So hopefully we can find a way to compete in the AL East. It's going to be another tough battle. It's going to be an exciting year 2. We will see you guys in spring training. Until then, we are signing off. Bye.